This is Sarah Mikesell with 5M, and today we're talking with Sterling Liddell, a grain analyst with Rabo AgriFinance. Sterling, let's talk a little bit today about China and how they're going about feeding their growing population, and specifically about pork. What is their strategy from a pork standpoint?
Pork for China is the staple meat that they consume, and therefore they consider it to be very strategic that they maintain the majority of production of pork. To do this with additional demand of meat, their plan is to move this from really what's called a backyard industry, where they're feeding scraps, agricultural scraps and table scraps, to a confined industry where they would be confining about 1,000 head per unit. They'd like to move this within the next 3 years to a 70% confined industry. So this is the main goal of China. There are a number of other things they're looking at. The proposed purchase of Smithfield Foods indicates a desire to both integrate technology within China, but also at the same time make a more seamless import process for product coming outside of China. Both of these strategies together will allow them to strategically position their pork purchasing and also production globally.
What does that also mean from a feed or grain standpoint?
Moving animals, especially pork or swine, out of a backyard industry or environment to a confined environment requires a really scientific type of a ration. In the past, in a backyard industry, you can feed scraps and you can feed agricultural waste, but in a confined environment, you have to feed both protein and energy, and that really comes from soybean and corn. Well, this just puts more pressure on the global market as China consolidates their herd to be able to supply some of that corn and soybeans, as China has not been able to keep up with that production themselves.
Very good. Thanks so much for your time today, Sterling.
Thank you, Sarah.
This is Sarah Mikesell for 5M.